Welcome everybody to Daily Census Explained, where we explain the story in more detail, but in a fun way, so you can know the backstory and how the inspiration came for each episode and each chapter. Thank you guys for listening.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to Chapter 20 of Daily Census, The Hammer Falls. And I think we have a pretty good idea of who the hammer is falling on. So this episode starts off with Rivera is really pushing Robert, the head of security, to pin this on Alan. He is really pushing, find something. At this point, we have to. And, they're saying he works late hours. He has access to all these spaces. We really can probably pin this on him. And so they're really pushing for that. But then we jump to 2 months later. And so a couple of months go by. It's not an immediate right away. So it makes it start to look like maybe the police have been actually investigating this well. And, it gives it a little bit of time. But in this time, it sounds like Rivera has laid off a lot of people. And so they're outside protesting, all these people that have been laid off in the last few months. And, their daily census report is trash because they don't have enough people coming in and out to really turn a profit. So things are looking really bad right now. And Rivera's under a lot of pressure to resolve this situation and get them back online. And so, again, they're really, really pushing for something to happen to Alan here. And the protest, that always just lends an extra air of stress to everything. I've been to a lot of, whether it's a hotel or a venue or something where there's a protest going on, and that always is going to make people reconsider whether or not this is a place they want to be or be a part of. I know that's got to be adding an extra layer to all of this. So is that something that you all have ever seen at a hospital as a protest from, dissatisfied staff or anything?
All I ever seen was union strike protest. That was it with nurses. Mm-hmm. Other than that, nothing on this magnitude of people dying. But it's going to happen eventually. So, especially with the layoffs. Remember, once they shut down the ICU,
right,
all the ICU departments, that you're going to eventually have to lay off staff because you can't get the numbers in.
Right.
So, Eric had to deal with that. And the nurses, the union, going to make sure they protest. Lay these people off. That's what they're there for.
How many people usually work in these units at a hospital the size you're thinking of with St. Mark's?
Oh, man. If you're looking at 2 shifts, maybe 100, 150. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of nurses for all those units.
Yeah. And again, it takes that many people to run a hospital properly because, as we were talking before about teachers, much like a classroom, you don't want to spread a teacher too thin with too many students. Mm-hmm. You don't want to spread a nurse too thin with too many patients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw what happened with India, right? India Davis. There wasn't enough people to cover, and look what happened. She ended up falling asleep because she's working 14 days straight.
Right, exactly. So you need a lot of people to make it run, but when it's having the issue they're having, there's a lot of people you have to lay off. Yeah,
because you're still trying to make a profit.
Right. Now, one would hope that they would bring a lot of them back when they bring the ICU back, but because no one knows when that's happening at this point, people are restless, and so they're, and they're looking for people to blame, and that's going to come into effect as well. Is that they're angry, and they're looking for people to go after.
A mob normally is. They're going to blame someone.
Yep. And so in this case, they don't know who they're mad at everybody right now, but that's going to become more focused as it goes along. So now also something that's happening here is that we see that Samuels has been feeding misinformation to the police for the last couple months about Alan. So, and again, these are a lot of his buddies, so they're not necessarily doing their due diligence on this. They're just kind of taking his word.
And plus, they've been paying these cops for 2 years now.
Right.
To find something on them. I mean, they got to come up with something.
Yeah.
Or they're going to stop paying them.
Right. So they're really in there, in the pocket here. And so he's been getting them prepped for this for especially the last couple of months. With
Got to find something on them, or we're not going to keep paying you.
Right. So they're getting ready to pounce here, and also we still have Johnny. He hears this. He hears what's going on about the misinformation and everything, and that's where it's going to come into the next episode as to what he does with this information and who he tries to help with it. So
yeah, Johnny always hears something, right? He's at service entrance.
Yeah.
Where they bring in the supplies and everything. So he's right there. He's always by the kitchen.
Right.
So the laundry room, got to bring the carts down, everything there, the service elevator. So yeah, he can hide a certain place and hear things. And he heard it. He heard him over talking again about Scotty.
Yeah. They really should be more careful about where they speak. So
most of the time you think, because if you go in those areas, you really don't see anybody.
Right.
Because we used to go to the service entrance elevator all the time. It's rare because most people are working. But those carts are so big, laundry cart, someone behind it, you would never know.
Right.
That's why, you shouldn't be talking about people, period. But most people would do that area. That's where they normally do their conversations.
Right. And you'd hear someone coming in, so they think that, that they're safe in there. So, yeah. And like you were saying about the basement in the hospital or in these spaces, there aren't that many people who are occupying them most of the time. So,
and then think about if you're going to bring the police in to arrest somebody, you're going to bring them in through the service entrance,
right?
Not in the front where they got all the protests.
Right. Yeah, the police aren't going to want to come through that unless they have to. So, how long has the protest been going on? Is it a fairly recent thing in this, or is it?
Yeah. What I do it, as I said, a 2-month gap, so they had to give them time to lay off people and everything else. Once you lay off people, I give them a furlough, give them time to organize. So I figured 2 months would be perfect for union get ready to do a protest.
Yeah,
you can't just do that overnight. You have to be organized. So 2 months would have been perfect.
Right.
And they never get the police long enough to find something on Scotty or make up something. Because they couldn't do it as soon as he asked. But they've been milking that money for 2 years, so they have to come up with something.
Right.
Because they still want to get that money.
So all their pieces have really
fall into place now.
Yeah, and once again, I've been hoping for Scotty that he's gonna figure it out, or that he's gonna
leave, or they get rid of Eric by then or something. But
yeah, or that he has some special card in his pocket here that he's going to be able to pull out and turn this all around on people. But it's seeming less and less hopeful at this point as we're drawing to a close here.
He has too much trust and belief in people.
Yeah, even still, and I guess we've all known those.
You got a good heart, yeah.
Yeah, but God, I know.
Sometimes you don't win with good hearts.
Mm-mm. And I know a guy at an organization right now, actually, who every time I talk to him, he's always making excuses for him and talking about how this will make it better, and if this person goes, it's going to get better, and how they're working toward this. And it's just cannot even see that no matter who's running that place and who's working there, it is never going to be different, or at least not enough for you to keep staying. But he just refuses to leave because he's that hopeful, because he really believes in the mission of the place.
Some people scared of change too.
That
going somewhere else and trying. You can't be scared to try and fail.
Yeah.
It's just lessons, that's all.
Yeah.
It's not losses, it's lessons. You know what not to do for the next one. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and I think I think this does ring true that people will stick at things, even though, we're yelling at them to leave, whether it's fictional.
Same thing
or
with
real.
Relationships. Same thing.
Oh,
Some people stick way too long.
Oh yeah.
Way too long.
Yeah, and then with Scotty, after giving him all these warnings, after a while, you just whatever.
Yeah, just whatever happens to him at this point.
Yeah, because you can't want it more than people do for themselves. Exactly. So you can't want it more for them.
My thing, you like it, I love it. If they like it, I love it.
Right,
you want to stay stuck in that situation, go ahead.
Yeah, and that really seems like it's where it's at. And we haven't really heard much from him lately, which means he's just still in the same pattern, just doing his thing, just working hard and
going home, going back to work.
He has no social life. All he does is work.
Yeah, and that also can be a real problem. So
remember, he don't even have a woman. Nothing, just works.
Yeah, just work.
That's why Johnny shot his shot. Like, what's going on?
And it's why when work lets people like that down, they're so crushed.
Yeah,
because
someone was suicidal.
Yeah,
They give their all and
invested
nothing in
everything.
return.
And they assume that that's gonna be reciprocated. So
It don't work like that.
yeah, no, and though companies maybe used to give you more in terms of a retirement and things, and there used to be more loyalty. Companies have always been companies.
Exactly.
You know, there have always been disposable cogs in the machine, and though now people have finally kind of figured it out to some degree, and they're like, I'm not loyal, I'm going to go to this other company that's offering more money, because it used to be people would stay for 20, 30, 40 years and not leave, even though the company treated them like garbage. Now they figured that out, but
Yeah, because
corporations are still...
back in the day, it was ingrained to you. Once you get a good job, you keep it.
Yeah.
You don't leave it, no matter what.
Like I said about my dad, worked for the railroad 30 years.
I don't believe in that shit. I don't.
And, had probably the catalog of terrible bosses, but stuck it out. So, because that's just what you did. And
that's what I love about the young generation. They won't deal with that.
No.
They might be a little lazier than us, but most of them are entrepreneurs. They would work for themselves.
Yeah.
And I love that about them.
Yeah.
They're not going to put up with that shit. They're going to...
Because I think we were somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Like we still felt like we had to have the health insurance, because that was the fear of no health insurance was put in us. But we also were like, but I don't want to work so much for this company that treats me like garbage. I'm going to do my own side thing here.
Now our children I'd rather work for myself.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep. So maybe that is an effect that has come out of it. Yeah, for sure. And then COVID helped push that along a bit too. So... So we have this episode ending with Johnny hearing what's going on and that they are coming for Scotty. And that's where we'll pick up next time.
All right. And thank you again for having us this week for this chapter of Daily Census Explained. So if you could just please assist us by hitting the like, subscribe, and notification buttons. You can also comment and share our content. These small things really help our channel, and it means a lot to us.